for a short time, I really wanted to find someone to blame and be angry with. I wanted to be angry with the doctors and the nurses at the hospital. I wanted to be angry with my dad. I even wanted to be angry with God. But for whatever reason, after he had passed, and I was cringing and crying by him, I didn't feel angry. I was upset, but I wasn't angry. And all week, I was wondering why I couldn't bring myself to be mad at any of those people. And then I remembered my dad. I remembered how I never really saw him angry. He would yell at us on very rare occasions, but growing up, I never knew him as an angry person. I don't think I've ever seen him with an angry face. And I thought that as he crossed over, his spirit, wonderfully lacking in anger, left traces in me. Today, we remember my dad for a lot of things, and I think that his apparent lack of rage or anger should be one of them.
Thank you, Marcel. One of the joys really I've had in life is being a police chaplain. And in that regard, one of the things that chaplains do is go and give death notifications. And so I've learned over the years some of the different responses that people have when they get very tragic news or when something like this happens. And I just want to pause here for a moment and talk a little bit about that. The way God created us is He gave us two basic responses to frightening things that happen. If you meet a bear on a path, you either got to run or you got to fight the bear. And so the two basic responses when adrenaline hits, and that's going to happen in a situation like this, are what we call the fight or the flight. The fight also can come out or comes out often in anger, and that's what you experienced, Marcel. Thank you for your honesty on that. Most of us will, at one point or another during this process of grief, feel that anger, that fight. You want to get mad at somebody for something. And so the reason I mentioned that is that as a family, if you can, in a sense, discount your anger over the next couple of weeks and even months, some of that anger will be over just death happening. We don't like that, and so we want to react. The other is the flight, the running, which comes out for some, myself included, in withdrawal from life, withdrawal from other people, withdrawal from relationships. And so again, if you're aware that that might happen to you, you can kind of counteract that. And so that's why it's good for the family to gather together, for friends to come over, for you to continue to be active in the relationship. So thank you for bringing that up. And it doesn't surprise me that you felt that anger, that most people do. And if you feel a sense of wanting to step back from other people, again, that's very, very normal and natural. So, okay, Evangeline, as I think most people call you Vanny? Yeah.
I'm Vanny, my dad's. I have all these memories of my dad, but the ones that really stick out in my mind are the small ones. Just the little things that most people aren't aware of, but I'm going to miss the most. Talking about basketball with him, and like the amazing shot that Kobe had during last night's game. Or borrowing his Michael Jackson CDs so I could birth them onto my iPod. Or being at the store with him and asking my mom if I can get something, and him just chiming in and saying, "You want that, Vanny? Okay, I'll buy it for you." I know my mom probably hated it when my dad did that, but times like those, when he was showing his utmost love and generosity, That's what I'll remember the most. My dad was such a fun, carefree man. He was always the life of the party. I remember just a few weeks ago at our Christmas party, he was telling all these crazy stories about him when he was younger. Some of his jokes were even a little inappropriate, but regardless, we laughed. My dad was always guaranteed to put a smile on your face. That's just the type of man he was. He rarely ever got angry. I remember when I would have an argument with my mom or my brother, he would always tell us to just forget about it. That's in the past, it's over, he would say. He always tried to keep the peace in the house. He never liked to see any of us fight. From what I know and what I've heard from various people, I know my dad was very proud of me. When I graduated as one of my high school's valedictorians, he was so excited to hear me give a speech. I'm so proud of you. He kept telling me to bring him extra copies of the newspaper so he could show more people. He was also really happy when I was accepted into UCLA, partly because he knew the other college I wanted to go to was in New York, and he wasn't thrilled about that. So I could tell he was really relieved when I got into UCLA. I remember when he placed the bumper stickers on our car, showing me. I was twins. My dad will be here when I graduate college. He barely even got to witness my first quarter here. Or there. But I know he's watching above, and I know he's proud of me. And I'm going to finish for him, no matter how many student loans it takes. I will finish school and graduate college, because I know that's what he really wanted. Losing my dad is one of the most difficult things I've had to endure. I wasn't prepared for this to happen. When someone that is ever so present in your life is taken away, just like that, it truly puts things in perspective. Although I know he knows that I love him, I just wish I could have told him that more often. But now I know that not a day will go by when I don't think of him until tell him, I love you, Dad. So, Dad, I love you.
The love of a father is very, very precious, isn't it?